I never dreamed that I knew somebody like you. No, I don't wanna fall in love.
Part of my three-part awakening of man. The first part was androgynous being, the second part was Garden of Eden. By Natalie Mantle, Meditation for Freedom. Well, here it is, the final installment. Today I will be talking about the serpent snakes, the caduceus, Moses' staff, tail of Satan, Kundilini, depending on which part of the world you are from, as it has many names. Stripping the cloak of dogma and revealing what the serpent snake really represents. Also, why it is important to raise this energy so that you can come full circle in your path of enlightenment. Serpent's sexual energy. The serpent. As explained in my previous post on Garden of Eden, the serpent is within you. It's the energy that flows up and down your spinal column. It is your sexual fire concealed within. This is a very powerful energy with a polarity which can be used for one to create or destroy. Due to this energy being so powerful, a person needs to develop a strong willpower and self-control in order to be able to master and overcome the temptation and lure of the serpent. The temptations from the serpent comes by way of self-edification and material pleasure. You could call this aspect of the serpent Shytan in Hebrew, or Lucifer, known as the human enemy. This is because Lucifer is a fiery serpent that is ignited through sexual acts, giving it power, allowing it to always tempting mankind to want and to have that sexual connection. A representation of power is what the serpent represents. But you decide through your actions if the power will be used for good or bad. The serpent can control you, or you can control it. This is where willpower comes in. Control of your mind controls the actions you take. Gnosis, control your mind. Serpent energy, Kundalini, awakening your mind. It is important that through meditation you learn to quieten and control your thoughts, as none of this is possible without your mind being in order. As only through the silence do we hear the messages and become at one, mind, body and soul. There is a hidden message in the story of the serpent which states, only those who have mastered their minds with the strength of will can control the cravings of their minds. Only then can you raise the energetic serpent from Yesod to Keter and transform yourself, becoming the master of your reality and surroundings. It is important to put your left foot forward and try to conquer the serpent within. This has been taught within secret societies since the beginning of time and is only now being told to the public. The hold the serpent has on you is fear, anger, passion, pride, lust, envy. This is represented in stories and images of Medusa, the serpents, and Moses. Serpent represented everywhere. When looking at the gods and heroes from history, you will notice that they always represent the snake, as it is the snake who protects them, helping them to overcome obstacles and any impending enemies, such as the serpent of Moses, who, when he commanded its power, enabled him to conquer the Egyptians, who during this time were heavily into dark magic, but it was no match for Moses, who had full control of his serpents. He was able to educate and teach the people wisdom and knowledge. For the true teaching he was able to receive from the Akashic records, direct from source. Born of the waters. The name Moses is a code. Its true meaning is born of water and fire. He was not the only one to have been reborn this way. There have been others, such as Padmasambhava and Quetzalcoatl. Because unless a man be born again in this realm after his initial birth, he cannot enter into the kingdom. To be born again, one has to create the soul, which is symbolized by the Christmas tree. When lit, it represents a full conscious awareness and awakening. The enlightened tree is within. When it is activated, your pineal gland will be opened, but to do this you need to clear your chakras and raise your serpent energy, allowing the energetic energy to flow. The Egyptian tyrants. Freeing the people. Moses was given the task of freeing the people of Israel from Egypt. As behind the cloak, it represents something completely different. Moses was told to take the rod, not literal as shown in images, but the rod within his spinal column, and with his heightened awareness from the tree of life, which is within you and only accessed in the higher realms of the mind. through meditation and reaching gnosis. This is what creates the serpent. The serpent of the Kundilini, the two snakes working in sync with each other. Even though the Egyptians practiced and attained gnosis, they used it for evil. Therefore Moses was able to win, as his serpent was of pure intent, making him more powerful and untouchable by the Egyptians, as only the positive serpent under the service of Elohim can free the soul from suffering. The positive serpent will always protect. Egypt was a representation of the degenerated mind of the human, with the pharaoh as a tyrant ruling over this man-made civilization, creating material power and wealth. The word Israel is a cloak, a compound word with greater meaning. Let me explain. Is short for Isis, the divine mother. Ra is short for Amin-Ra, the divine father. El is Hebrew for God. Kundalini, energy and sex. Kundalini, energy and sex. One has to be careful when using the sexual energies, as sex can be lustful or pursued. It can be used to create or destroy. Rough or gentle, being used for many things, including awakening the Holy Spirit within. People use it to raise the Kundalini energy and then release it into healing and magic. The secret is that only magic pure of heart has any real use. So when performing these acts, it's important to be informed. Everything has a cause and effect, and as humans we all have a choice. Something is only bad if you make it, so we all have free will. But the choices you make could be the difference between living a life of happiness or a life of hell. Sex is part of life, and we have longed for the connection from our separation in Eden from androgynous beings to man and woman. However, only sex performed under the guidance of divine will, not of mind. Sex performed under the guidance of the mind through lust only creates suffering, wanton spiritual vibrational death, keeping you in the lower chakras. Remember, sexual desire can never truly be satisfied, leading one to push more and more boundaries. Opening parenthesis. Desire is never satisfied by the enjoyment of lust, because just as a fire increases, the more one gives it fuel. The laws of Manu. Serpent energy, Kundalini awakening. Is it love or lust? Love or lust, sex, there are difference. When we're engaging in sexual acts, we need to know if we're engaging in love or lust, because this energy is powerful and is controlled by the serpent. When two people unite during a sexual act, the internal polarity within our bodies are enhanced and heightened. This energy is the Holy Spirit giving you the power to create, known as Shin, which means fire. One has to conquer the desire to orgasm. This is to conquer the temptation of the serpent of Eve. As the serpent is always within our tree of knowledge, on the side of good and bad, as it only sees them as choices. This is the only place to conquer the Kundalini energy and gain true knowledge through sexuality. Humanity left Eden as a couple, and as a couple they must return. The word kingdom in Hebrew is Malkuth. It is the foundation on the tree of life Kabbalah symbol. This is where the real work begins, as man and wife working together in order to reach perfection, connecting with each other on a spiritual level. By doing this, you will gather up more energy, being able to use it to create from within with mind. By refraining from spilling the divine energy during sex will restore and rebalance your serpents, allowing you to then raise the energy of the Kundalini. Chastity does not mean no sex. Self-control chastity. After reading or listening to the above, you're probably thinking no sex. Well, that's not the case. What's practicing chastity? All it simply means is refraining yourself from the orgasm. As once the divine energy is spilled, the orgasm, the energy is released, therefore it cannot be stored, and you cannot raise the Kundalini energy. Sex is important for spiritual advancement. It is the keys to the car. We have been led to believe that we all have souls. This is not true. When we are born of the flesh through sexual acts, which raises the Holy Spirit, our divine power. One has to be born again and earn a soul through the fire and waters, as explained earlier about Moses. As in all of creation, everything is born from sex. So your soul need to also be born of sex. The waters of sex develop through chastity and the fires of the Spirit. A single person cannot awaken the Kundalini energy. It can only be done through unity and alchemical matrimony. The Kundalini energy is the connection to God and can only manifest inside those who cleanse themselves of all the capital sins, which are gluttony, laziness, anger, envy, lust, pride, greed. The fire of the Kundalini will only be awakened with continuous progress through mediation, raising one's vibration and chakras and storing one's divine energy. The fire which is created by the sexual energy must create, or it will destroy, as it cannot be contained. Once built up, it has to be used. It can have damaging effects on one's mind, creating anger and sexual degeneration. We see this all over now with stories of perverted priests around the world as more people speak up. This is affecting all religions high end. Not so much the general public, more with people with high religious positions seeking enlightenment. They lose sight and forget that one has to utilize this energy by transforming it into spiritual energy for healing, etc. Hidden in symbolism, the return to heaven. Behind the cloak symbolism, it is important to know that these answers about the Kundalini and the Garden of Eden have been hidden in plain sight behind signs and symbolism, so that only few could understand the true meanings. In Revelation chapter 7:4 it reads, "Then I heard the number of those who were saved, 144,000 from all the tribes of Israel." This number is very symbolic, as sign, symbols, numbers, they are all connected. Every Hebrew letter also represents a number. This is why numbers are important. The name Adam gives you the numbers, the 1st of April 40, if you bring these numbers down to the lowest number, which is 9. 9 is the number of the Sephira or node in the Kabbalistic tree of life, meaning that man has to return to the 9th sphere of the mind gnosis. Only then can you be saved. That come to the end of my post about the Serpent energy Kundalini awakening. Any questions, please leave a comment.